Dear Adams, this is Mr. Oz again, and today we're going to continue talking about certain things in how do we calculate the average of the class and GPA for all of the classes, which goes into your transcript. Okay, so this is an important component as a part of your college readiness. Why? Because as you may think about it, right? Once we submit your transcript to the colleges, your colleges will see everything, and you need to understand what the transcript is all about and how are you going to make sure that you have the highest possible GPA you may get. Everyone has the potential. A lot of people, guys, don't get low GPAs, not necessarily because they don't know the topics or the content of the classes, but they are missing certain things, certain little things that are, getting together, and then, um, you know, that they didn't realize how important it is, and then they're accumulating together, and then it becomes a big issue for average and GPA at the end of the day. So maybe knowing this little information, you can easily improve your GPA. Maybe you're gonna see, oh, was it that important? Yes. Now let's see what am I talking about, and then I'm not gonna talk about only one certain thing. We'll talk about the average, how to make sure that we are increasing our averages, and then how to calculate the GPA. Okay. Now, after talking about this little evaluation, we're gonna go to the GPA calculation tool, and then we'll talk about it. How do we calculate the GPA? Okay. So let me go back to the syllabus now. Here, I'll ask Mr. Zengen, the Algebra 1 teacher, to share me his syllabus. You are receiving syllabus from every single teacher at the beginning of the year, and a lot of you may remember, this pretty much the first work that you do, homework. What you do, you get it, you sign it, you make your parents sign it, and then bring it back to your teacher, right? So everyone is pretty much familiar with what the syllabus is. As a part of syllabus, you see, like, you learn a lot about teachers' policies, what are the grading methods, and then if there's an extra credit classroom rules, and sometimes this covers a little bit of the content as well. So yeah, it is here talking about the course information. All right, let's go to the specific thing that I'm talking about today, the grading piece. This is, guys, very important. A lot of people don't pay attention to this. You see, now, while we're calculating your average, there's categories. Now, participation for Mr. Zhang's Algebra 1 class, which is pretty much same across the board, is 10%. And then classwork and homework is 30%, quizzes 30%, and test 30%. Even if you get 10, 20 participation grade in a semester or a marking period, everything averaged out, and then it becomes 10% of the B grade. It doesn't matter if the teacher is giving one participation grade or 20 participation grade. The combination or the average of all the participation grades roll up to 10%. Now, all the classwork and homeworks, 30%. Whatever the teacher is giving, two classwork or 20 homework, or the other way, or maybe the teacher is giving only one homework, right? Right? I know that your teachers are giving homeworks every week or sometimes every day, right? But regardless of the number of the homeworks and the classwork, it's at 30% of the grade. Then quizzes and projects. If the teacher gives only one quiz or only one project for the semester, that's 30%. If the teacher gives three projects and three quizzes, right, there's six components here. So each one of those projects and quizzes becomes 30 divided by 6 is 5%, right? So all the quizzes and projects gets together for a 30%. And the test is, or if there's multiple tests, the combination will be 30%. And you got the message, right? Let's move on. Now, my point when I'm talking about it is here. Why is it so important, right? You're getting the grades, school tool, or yeah, school tool is making all the calculations for you. So why bother? Why do you need to know? Guys, I have a point here. You see the classwork and the homework is 30%, and even the projects here another 30% with the quizzes. Let's say the teacher give one quiz and one project, so project becomes 15%. Let's say, right? So think about a student who is doing no homework, no classwork, no project. Now, the student loses 30% here from this category, and then half of this category from projects. So the student is losing 45% of the entire thing. Which is pretty much 45% of the entire grade means what's the highest grade that the student is going to be able to get? You make the math, right? 55% the highest. If that student is a perfect test taker, right? Thought about it. If you're missing this main homework, even if you're not, like, who's getting 100? I mean, I'm not the one. It's a hard thing to get 100 in the tests and quizzes and, even the participation in the class, right? The highest grade you'll get is a 55. So you failed. I mean, not you, but the student I'm talking about, right? So she failed. So what is the way to make sure that you are not failing? First of all, each and every category is very important here because the passing grade is 65. So the day that you miss 35% of the entire thing, one third of the entire thing, right? 35%, you are either barely passing or failed, right? 64 is failing. So every single thing is important here. And then a lot of time, student miss one homework or two or three or four, sometimes half of them. So, you know, now you make the calculation. So if you're missing half the work, the highest grade you get at 85, and you're not a perfect test taker, so you go down to 70. So you're barely passing. I mean, maybe 69 is a D, right? 70 looks like a good grade. It's a C, but 69 to make it more, understandable, 69 is an F. So you got it. I mean, sorry, 69 is a D. Yeah. Let's move on. Now, every time you get a grade, that goes to a transcript. And then after you get to the transcript, right, we have a GPA tool. We have a GPA calculation tool, okay? So the reason that we prepare this is that a lot of times students don't see or don't know how to make the calculations, right? Because every course is different, every average is different, and then the credits matters. Now I'm going to talk about the credits here, as well as how do you make all these calculations. Now we are in the third marking period, but let's say we've started the first marking period like a month ago. So you put the courses here, doesn't matter what they are: algebra 1, English, right, PE, art, you name it, like course 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right, 10. So the names doesn't matter, but the credits matter. I mean, names matters too, but you name them, okay? It doesn't matter right now for the sake of calculations. So algebra 1 is usually 1 credit. English is 1 credit. PE is going to be a half credit. And most of the time, PE and art or music usually rotates, okay? Which means it is less than 1 credit. 1 credit means if you're seeing a teacher every single day for the entire year, which is usually 180 days, what happens is you get a full 1 credit. On the other hand, if you are meeting every other day, like a PE class, right, you got a 0.5 credits. Oops, 0.5. Let's say the art is also 0.5. Now, let's say you're getting 100 in PE and 100 in art. So you're thinking that, oh, I'm gonna just um, take all these grades and then make an average. Let me make this window a little bit smaller. So you see that Google is making some additional features that you can see the sum, which is not important at that point, but average is 93.5. But now, when we make the calculation here for the marking period 1, it is 92.78, 92.78, not 93.5. Why? Because PE and art, even though you have higher grades, it is just half credit. So how do we make the calculations? How the system makes the calculations? The system takes full credit classes as 1 credit, and then get the PE and art type of half credit classes as weighted half credit, and make all the calculations. You could make it. It's not so hard. 1 times 89 plus 1 times 89 plus 0.5 times 100, and so on and so forth, and divided by the total number of credits. It's going to make this calculation. But to make it easier, I've made such a spreadsheet that's going to make your life easier, because you never know if maybe the formula is not coming correctly or perfectly. So at the bottom there's a little list. I'm going to share this with you. If you don't receive this list, then please let me know. Then I'm going to also share with you. Now you getting more grades the second quarter, right? Let's say the second quarter starts, you get all, let's say, all the same class, same grades. Okay. All right, now nothing is changing, but third marking period, all of a sudden, you say, oh, I have 92 GPA or average. It's not GPA, by the way, it's average. So let me make sure that I'm gonna lay down a little bit, take my time. I'm not gonna do a lot of homeworks. You start dropping your grades. Let's say you get 80s here, 60s here, and then all of a sudden you didn't do well here, and then you get a 0 here. Oh, wow, okay, interesting. Now, when you get a 0 in this course, you get an average of 64, because even though you had a 96, 96, you drop everything, you didn't do anything, you failed. See? So, even the highest grades here for 2 marking periods, that's not going to help you. Or you get a 40 here, and for the fourth quarter, you did another 40, you barely passed. You see, like, you can play with the numbers, and now you see it's not always on your side. 80 and 80. You see now you start with 80s, which is kind of cool, right? And now you drop it for the third and fourth quarter. You see your average is 60. Now you owe 20 points in order to pass. What I mean is this chart helps you a little bit. So you take 20, add this here, you see it is passing. So that's why I kind of try to put this missing points here as another additional formula. So it's making all the calculations for you. But anyway, that's not the point here. You could start using this chart and then start making all the calculations for yourself, and you are calculating your averages. Now every class at the end of the year get an average, right? This is your average. Let's say we take that, the year is over, these are your averages. Whatever comes here goes to the transcript, or whatever you see in the school tool will go to the transcript. How is that going to help you? Now, once something goes into the transcript, it's not possible anymore to fix it. There's a couple additional conditions, such as you can retake the class, but even if you retake the class, the former grade is not going to disappear. It's going to stay on the transcript. So what happens is, if you retake the class, the GPA calculation, they only calculate the highest, the second grade. If you, let's say you had a 61st, next semester or next year you take it again, or in the summer school you get an 80. Now 80 overrides the 60, so you don't. Your GPA calculations will be calculated based on your new grade. But, as you may make an assumption, right? The old grade at 60 is gonna stay on the transcript. Unfortunately, it's not. It's a part of your permanent record. So please be mindful of that. Please make sure that you're not failing anything. Even if you are not doing well, make sure to pass it. Like you had a terrible year, terrible semester, but you at the end of the year, you make sure you pass the class. So so here's a sample transcript. The student, I don't want to give the name because that's a confidential information, right? Started the 8th grade with a high school level credits and then got a grade here. All the 9th grade grades are being populated here, the 10th, 11th, and 12th graders. 12th graders is, the year is not over. He's just receiving what is being completed. And then at the bottom, we also put the state testing and SAT testing information here. So this is how a transcript will look like. And if you see that, like once the school year is over, everything, all the classes that you've been taking will be a part of this transcript, and then that's your permanent record. When a college requires a transcript, the student comes to us, to the guidance, and then we send this transcript to the colleges. Okay, so let's make a quick summary what we have talked about it today. We talk about the grades, like how to earn a grade at the end of the year. There's components, and then you make sure that you fill up all the components without missing anything, and then the combination of all your grades throughout the year becomes the average of one class. And those classes will go into the transcript, which populates a GPA. You see there's GPA for each quarter, I'm sorry, each year, and then at the end of the 4 years, there's going to be an overall GPA, which is at the top of this transcript. So we also calculate that separately. So this is the end of our class today. I hope you liked it. If you have any questions or concerns, or if you would like to, if you want to get a copy of this GPA calculation sheet, please reach me at m.az@sani.org. Goodbye now.